Hello there, my name is Sith Holocron and I'm from the Dongers of Runeterra, and today's Donger deck discussion involves two champions that haven't had an awful lot of play recently since the patches have come out, and specifically we're talking about Gangplank and Anivia. These two wonderful champions here. Now, Anivia is just hilarious, and in the most recent patch her egg was put down to just 1 health, not 2, which allowed it to be killed in many ways. But then, you know, with things like Rekindler, you could bring it back, and it's what it is. But Gangplank outside of Twisted Kegs isn't really being used in the meta that much, and I went, oh, can we kind of make a deck around Gangplank and Anivia? And I think that we might have just done that. So let us go straight, no further, but go into the deck, and we begin with 2 warning shots. Now, why not 3? Well, there's a very good reason for this. Most of my decks I will build will mainly be 3s, and you can go all 3s in a 1, or all 3s and 2 2s, or 4 2s. And this deck is all 3s and 4 2s, so something had to go somewhere, and Warning Shot was the first one that went. So it is brilliant. It's a burst spell. There it is. Deal 1 to the enemy nexus. It's burst, it can't stop, it can win you the game if you've only got 1 health to go. Fantastic, but not really what it's usually used for. It's normally used for plunder purposes, and this deck can plunder, but again, that's not its main condition. What we are using Gangplank for is how Gangplank is meant to be used, which is kegs, and an awful lot of kegs. So this has got a little bit of developing, but again, like most of my decks, I have the idea, I have the concept, we put it out there. I want you guys to try and make it better. So please, by all means, hit me up in either our Discord, which you can join for free in the pinned comments, or get in touch via YouTube. That's equally as good. So obviously we're running 3 of Omen Hawk, because there is a 0.00000000000000000.1 chance you won't get him in your opening hand. I think the game is busted when it comes to this card, and that's why most Freljord decks will always have him in their game. So 3 + 1 to the top 2 allies, just what a card. And then we go for our first Keg person, which is the Dreadway deckhand. Fantastic 2/2, so we're all on curve. The 1/1/1, the treble 2, we are looking at kind of good. And the Keg obviously will increase all spells and damage by 1, unless you've got 4 of them, and then it's by 4. And the whole concept of this deck is for it to be as cataclysmically Keg blowing up as we can possibly get. So we should always be hitting the nexus. We will be leveling up Gangplank, and that's excellent. So everything in this deck is kind of based around hitting the nexus. Again, make it rain. Fantastic. If you have a Keg out, now you're doing it 2-3 times amongst different targeted enemies. That's fantastic. It's a solid card. It's as cheap as chips. Get it in there. It is fantastic for clearing the board. So far we don't really have an awful lot of big units though, so our on curve 3/3 is the Kindly Tavern Keeper, and believe me, the only thing you want to be doing in this deck is healing your nexus. Keep your nexus floating up by 3s each time you play it. At any time you play it, increase your nexus by 3. This is a light deck. This deck will not start firing until rounds 8 or 9, but when it does, you have just 1. If it gets past round 10, it's an insta-win. You can't lose. So you need to stall, and one of the reasons for stalling, and an absolute resource in Runeterra, is Nexus health. Use him to literally increase your Nexus health by 3. So Seth, why no health bubble? Well, you know, the health potion's cool. It's very cheap, but it doesn't give you a unit, and we actually need units to also help stall off until our main champions get leveled. And by helping them level, we welcome you to BBG's idea of how the best way to level up Gangplank is, which is the Monkey Idol. So we're having 3 of those. This one comes across, becomes a exploding 2-1 that does 1 damage to your enemy nexus every time it does it, and at the start of every round he bursts again. If he's not killed, he does it 3 times. There's 3 different rounds that's been hit. If you're attacking on odds, get the Omen Hawk, which you will. There's 4. You know, the chances of him not leveling up are very remote. So Gangplank will normally hit the board fully loaded, and you'll get that incredibly bad cutscene of what it is. So with an awful lot of plundering, we're actually going to run 3 pilfered goods, and yes, it's now 3 and not 2 mana, but I don't care. I like beating people with their cards. You know, people put cards in decks for a reason, because they think they're good. So they're going to be good for us too. If we can steal a unit or a really good spell, perfect. Absolutely perfect. You will also notice we are not running Black Merchant. We're not running it at all. We're not running a Jagged Butcher either. We went pretty much for the Freljord early units because they deliver much more mana efficiency than the other ones, but to be able to steal things is fantastic. Avalanche is a 3 of, and this could be quite contentious and maybe could actually drop down to a 2 of, as it does 2 to all units. Now that can be fantastic against say spider decks, which are making a huge thing again. The Undying decks, just to get rid of them so you can run in with a massive smash, but you've got to make sure that what you actually have out is good enough, because if you've just played out your Anivia after already playing out Gangplank, Gangplank's now down to a 5-3, he could even be less than that, and Anivia is then going to be a 2-1, so be very careful about using it. And then instead of it being the normal 3 of, this is my second 2 of, which are 2 Fury of the North. It's too good a card not to run. I might actually swap the Avalanche for the Fury of the North to give them 4-4. They're exactly the same cost. There is no real right or wrong about which is right or wrong on this whatsoever. I kind of like it at the minute. Avalanche has saved me in testing, which is why it's 3, but there's no reason at all not to run 3 Furies and only 2 Avalanches. Avalanche, you know, if you think about it, it's pretty much a ruination for 4 mana against both sides of the board. So it can be horrible, but doesn't really do that much against Freljord. So, but would be really good against nearly every other region in the game. And then we're going to keep going. And here's a little new one. Meet Wolf Rider. A 4-3 for 4 cost with Overwhelm. Again, we're plundering all over the place, and I found this by going again up in here and hitting the plunder word and searching for it. So I get an empty mana gem. So if I have 2 spell mana, which is the 3 dots underneath your main mana as it goes up, we will empty it. So if you have a spot there, the Wolf Rider, if you have plundered, when you put it down, you get it. That's not really what it's there for. We're not really running the huge amounts of stuff that people think that we would be running. And to be honest, it's really there for the 4 cost unit. And that's really it. To be completely honest, that is where we're at with this. It's solid, it attacks well, it can defend well. If you put that up against the spider that's a 1-1 or a 2-1, you're doing 3 damage after you kill it, so, and it will survive and then can either defend or attack again. It's a solid 4 cost unit. So we have our little birdie, and then we have the Dreadway, and then we have Monkey Idol and the Tavern Keeper, and then we're into Wolf Rider. So our curve by units is all good, and then we go for this card. Oh wow, I don't know why people haven't been kind of using this more than they're not. So this is the Catalyst of Aeons. Get an empty mana gem and heal your Nexus 3. Again, we need to keep our Nexus as high as possible through this deck, as our first champion costs 5, our second champion costs 6, and then we have 2 other things that are running out with well, 6 and 9 costs, so they're quite late game. But remember, this is a late game deck. This is a control deck, and pretty much the way you win is by cataclysmically blowing everything up using kegs. So to keep yourself going, Catalyst of Aeons is another way to not only get more mana for your spells, but healing your Nexus 3. And then we have Gangplank, damage an enemy Nexus in 5 rounds. He goes to eternity as 6. He deals 1 to all enemies and the enemy Nexus. That is really quite good. Really quite good. I like Gangplank. He's pretty much always loaded. And then we're playing Anivia. So once you hit round 10, you are then enlightened, which is brilliant. She now does 1 damage to all enemies in the Nexus, just as the original Phoenix, but when she comes back as Uber Phoenix, she does 2 to all enemies in the enemy Nexus, and then when dead it transforms into Ignivia, which used to be a 0-2 and is now a 0-1. If you're enlightened, it transforms me back up into Ignivia and level up, which is really quite good. These guys alone can win you the game from round 10. You don't really need to do anything else. You really don't. But in the meantime, to get you there, the Citrus Courier is a 2 drop in this that costs 6. That will heal every ally your side of the board when after you've plundered. You drop this down, you heal your Nexus 3. Do you see the theme? The theme is keep your Nexus up while doing lots of explosions. And then you rally, which is fantastic, and then you can go again. So if you've got this person, say at round 8, and an Anivia, and just keep going. Just keep going on. We've got 2 of those. And then for a bit of a meme, we've went for the Dreadway. Now I have made a Dreadway deck, and I made it in a Twisted Fate Sea Monsters deck, but we weren't running Gangplank because it was just Twisted Fate. I thought this time, why don't we actually put this in? And this is the card, this is our end card. This is the card that just wins the game. Just wins the game. Because all the damage spelt by skills, spells or allies is doubled. So if you have 3 kegs and an Anivia and a level Gangplank, what this does is just horrific to any other deck in the game, bar none. It's not Braum Anivia. It doesn't want to be Braum Anivia. This wants to just stall, 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 heal, heal, stall, stall, kaboom, and then you win. This is the kEGGsplosions deck. I hope you like it. I do. It's been fun to play. The deck code will be in the pinned comments beneath. I will take that now so I can put it into my video. There's a clip to the board. My name is Holocron. Thank you so much for watching. Come and join us at the Dongers of Runeterra. Our Discord is actually fantastic, and we've just had our Dongers Cup where we just gave away €50 for a free entry tournament for one day. That's pretty decent. Until the next time, keep playing Runeterra. Dong is out.